Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5. You might know me, you might not, but it's okay. Because I am here today to tell you about Hanes Hummus, alright? What I really want you guys to do is to try it. It's not just any hummus, it's special styles of hummus. All types of flavors of hummus. Hummus. Ladies and gentlemen, Hanes Hummus.
Hanes Hummus. Real ingredients, unreal taste. I'm gonna start you off with the original.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, that's good. Oh, that's very nice. That is really, really nice. This needs to be like listed like sorbets.
Nice to see you.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, this is. I love this.
I love dill.
Even as I've scaled up the company and the amount of hummus that I'm making, I haven't changed how I make it, and that's what people really appreciate. Oftentimes people will say, this tastes homemade, because I haven't cut any corners.
Trying something different today. We have a special guest here, Yohannes, for dinner. Thanks, Sean, for the lasagna.
Thank you, Sean.
I hear you have a really good hummus company.
I do.
What's it called?
It's called Hanes Hummus.
Hanes Hummus. How long have you been doing it for?
I started selling hummus back in about 2009 out of my home. I did that for a couple years, but I really got serious with this in 2014. I exhibited at my first trade show here in Vancouver. It's called CHFA West. It stands for Canadian Health Food Association. It's the largest trade show for the organic and natural food industry in Canada. And somebody had recommended that I check it out. And it was during and after that show that I saw that there was a possibility for establishing a brand. So it's been about the last 2 to 3 years that it's really become a business.
Why did you get into hummus? Like, what was the passion to do that?
So I get asked this all the time, and the short answer is the kind of hummus that I make is very unique, and anytime anybody tries it, the response is always people are blown away by how good it tastes, and people were demanding that I sell them hummus. And that's how I started, is people were, telling me I had to sell it to them. And basically that's it.
Where did you grow up? Where you?
I grew up in Saskatoon.
Okay.
My family's from a country called Eritrea. I was born in Ethiopia. We immigrated to Saskatoon in 1980. Did all of my formative years there. I lived out here for about 10 years, and then I moved back to Saskatoon 9 years ago, and that's where I produce Hanes Hummus, but I'm always on the road.
Is it a family recipe? Like, did your mother start making hummus and then you kind of learned from her? And then where did you get the passion? Where did you okay, one day I'm gonna do hummus?
Mm-hmm. So I didn't grow up eating hummus. It's not a family recipe. These are my recipes that I created. I started making hummus for myself while I was living out here, going to school, and I just got creative in the kitchen. And so these are my own recipes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what sets your hummus apart from any other hummus?
So it has a completely different taste than conventional hummus. So that's the first thing, is the taste. It's really unique. It's distinct. The second thing is the texture. My hummus is chunky. All the other brands of hummus on the market, they're really smooth. And the third thing is the quality. My hummus doesn't have any added preservatives, no fillers. I don't use any oil or add any water. So all the other brands are using mainly canola oil. It's a filler, and a filler is something you add to a product in replacement of food. So those are the three things. It's quality, taste, and texture.
Well, I'm on board. Yeah. Where do you find it?
In the Lower Mainland, Whole Foods is carrying it, Choices Market, Meinhardt's, a retailer called Meridian Farm Market, and that's it right now. There's a few more places that I have interest, and I'm working hard to to increase my exposure and availability to people.
Are you doing this all by yourself? Do you have help with anybody? Or?
No, it's all me. I always tell people, you know, I am Hanes Hummus, and so no, it's all me. I'm completely independent. I don't have anybody doing my sales. I don't have anybody doing my marketing.
Just a one-man show, basically.
It's a one-man show right now. Yeah, it won't always be that way, but where the business is at right now, it's a one-man show.
Nice. Any advice from anybody, from like business-wise, or do this, don't do that, or talk to this person, or do this? Like any mentors or?
There's nobody specifically that I sat down with and said, you know, what should I do? Having said that, you meet people, you know, along the way in life who, you know, have been there before, who have done it, and so I'm always open to getting suggestions, and you know, I do ask a lot of questions because everything that I'm doing is new, and so while I've done this on my own, I certainly I'm always looking for, you know, good guidance for sure, but there's nobody specifically that, you know, I can say to you, this is the person that said, you know, do this, don't do that.
Just basically a trial and error kind of thing, right? And learning from mistakes.
Exactly.
That's the best way to do it, really.
Yeah.
I think. Where do you make it right now? Like, do you have like this in your kitchen, or?
Yeah, no, it's made in Saskatoon. I have a facility. Yeah, it's modest, you know, but I have everything that I need there. So, I mean, a lot of times people are like, oh, so you make this at home? And it's like, no, once you get, you know, past a certain threshold, you can't make it at home. So when I first started selling it to friends and family and, you know, acquaintances, it was out of my home. But once I began selling it to stores, it had to be made in a food-safe facility.
Exactly. Sanitary and all that. So you spend half your time here and there, kind of thing?
In this last year, I've really concentrated on growing the my distribution in Vancouver. What I always try to impress on people is that the real heavy lifting begins once a retailer agrees to carry your product. The assumption from the general public is that once you get your product into a store, you walk away and that the product will be there forever. And that's not how it works. The retailers, when they agree to carry your product, they'll keep it as long as people buy it. And so I'm spending a lot of time building a relationship with the retailers, and then more important, building a relationship with the customers. So I do daily demos at retailers that are carrying my product, really spelling it out for people on the differences between Hanes Hummus and regular hummus.
What's been the biggest challenge so far?
Oh man, there's so many. Most brands of hummus that are on the market are mass produced. They're using, as I said, all these fillers. They're adding all of these preservatives. They're using methods of production where you lose a lot of the nutrients that were once in the food. One of the many things that makes Hanes Hummus unique is that it's really fresh. And this is something that people identify and consistently say is, this tastes fresh, this tastes homemade. And so as a product that makes it in small batches versus all of these other brands, this is what people are used to. People are used to hummus that is cheap, that is generic, that's full of all of these additives. That's what people are used to. And I've disrupted that by creating something that not only tastes different, but that is actually fresh, that is genuinely unique, and it costs more because it's made with a certain detail and craft that these big companies can't do. And so I face two challenges. Number one, convincing retailers to carry my product. Their automatic response is, we have hummus, which is a euphemism for, you know, go to hell. We don't want to talk to you. Yeah. And my response is always, I understand that you have hummus, but I have something that is different, that is better than what you have. And then once, as I said, once you get into a store, that's when, if it doesn't sell. And so for the consumer is, if they don't have a chance to taste my product or see it, and they see the price in comparison to the other brands, there's an automatic, question that's like, why is this more expensive? Why is this so much more expensive? Once people taste it, they understand immediately the difference. And so those are some of the challenges, are, educating a public and a retailer that is used to doing things a certain way, and asking them to give you an opportunity. I stand behind my product. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have the best hummus.
Well, the market's been right, I think, for the last few years. Everyone's kind of leaning towards more craft and quality over mass-produced, what we're used to, kind of thing.
Some people are.
Yeah, but we just gotta,
Some people are.
You gotta convince them. Is it harder to convince the customer or the retailer?
Well, the retailer's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
They decide what comes into the store and what doesn't. And usually that comes down to a single person, a buyer.
Yeah.
And so without, if my product is not available in a store, people can't buy it, right? And so the first hurdle is getting it into the store. Then I understand my hummus is not for everybody. Some people, for a variety of reasons, will continue to purchase cheap, generic hummus. But there's a segment of the population that would rather make it themselves than purchase what's available currently because of what's in it. So those are the people that I'm looking for, people that want good food. Hummus is marketed as good for you. It's marketed as a healthy alternative to so many other foods. But it's become what it was supposed to replace. And with the addition of mainly canola oil as one of the major ingredients, these large corporations have taken something that is actually good for you if you strip down what a traditional hummus is, and they've added all this crap to it. And so everybody thinks they're eating healthy and good quality food, when if you look at the ingredients, they're not. But a lot of that is the marketing side of it. And I have something that is actually good for you and also tastes amazing. So it's tough. It's tough to, there's a lot of noise out there, but I generally, I've created something that is distinct. When people taste it, they remember it. They may not remember the brand name, but once they put it in their mouth, they'll be like, I've had this before. And so I have something that, it stands out. It stands out.
Well, I know a lot of companies have different flavors of hummus. Do you just do the one type, or do you venture off to the different flavors? Or?
So I have 3 flavors. The original, roasted garlic and dill, and hot date.
Hot date?
Hot date. The original is my original. It's not plain, it's not regular. It was my first recipe, so I bestowed that name on it. It's really complex recipe. There's many layers that go, that your palate travels through. Roasted garlic and dill is, out of the 3 flavors, the least complex, but it's really fresh if you like dill. And a lot of people that don't even like dill, with the way I've make it, have commented, this actually tastes better than I thought it would. Hot date is a special recipe as well. So it's sweet and spicy. The dates make it sweet. It's also a really complex recipe. And so that's one of the things that makes my hummus special, is it doesn't taste anything like regular hummus. Yeah, so I always tell people, when they'll say, oh, I don't like hummus during a demo or if I'm at a trade show, and I'll say, I don't have hummus here. And they'll say, well, that's what it says, and I'll say, no, it says Hanes Hummus, and there's a difference. And some people get it, some people don't.
And the name, how did you come up with the name?
So Hanes is my nickname,
Okay.
and so I just thought it would be appropriate to, call it after me. I had a few ideas previous to calling it Hanes Hummus, but I chose Hanes.
I heard things about you got a letter from somebody.
So in 2013, Hanes Brand Incorporated, the U.S. multinational maker of, briefs and bras and socks, all that good stuff. Yeah. They're a textile company. Sent me a cease and desist letter stating that I had 5 days to terminate my business as Hanes Hummus because they, according to them, had ownership of the word Hanes. And they stated that there would be brand confusion in the market. I objected through my lawyer. A 2-year legal dispute ensued, but I was successful in retaining the ability to operate as Hanes Hummus. So it was, it was a big victory for not only myself but any small business owner who's faced a similar situation. The victory tasted as good as Hanes Hummus.
Cheers, that's a great story. And
Yeah, man.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try it.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
What's your story, Vancouver? Our cities, our stories.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining us for dinner.